Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Funky Podcast proudly brings to you Wrestling Wednesday. I always wanted to do that, and if you didn't like it, I've got 2 words for you. And let's start this Wrestling Wednesday off. And of course, again, we are looking back at SmackDown, RAW, and AEW DYNAMITE. Starting with SmackDown, of course, it was last week on Friday. And well, what happened there? And since it was last week on Friday, I just tried something new this time. So I'm gonna just highlight a few of the highlights that I think are highlight worthy. Then we talk a little bit more about RAW, and then of course about AEW. So the 2 things that stood out at SmackDown for me were the segments of the Royal Rumble winners. Obviously, because it was the SmackDown after the Rumble. So of course they would highlight those 2. There's of course the main event kind of being Edge, and it was kind of cool to see Roman Reigns being really angry, because we've seen Edge before going to Raw after the Rumble, appearing at Dynamite, like staring off with Finn Balor, and then he didn't come to Roman Reigns in the beginning, and Reigns was all like, "Come out, I demand respect. I give you it until the end of the show to show me some respect, because why wouldn't you go after the real main event, after the real champion?" and so on. So great heel promo. So I have to admit, I'm one of those who says like Roman Reigns was boring, but now as a heel, it's fun to hate him, and he's a relatable heel, though. You know where he comes from. I mean, kinda. So that was cool. And then in the end, of course, at the end of the show, Edge, of course, came out, confronted Reigns. They had like a quick back and forth, and Reigns again says, "I demand respect." Edge just took it pretty cool, actually. He says like it's very difficult to choose the right person, and well, he's here right now with Reigns, and Reigns has Jimmy Jay Uso next to him and Paul Heyman, so it's already outnumbered. Then Edge said, "Okay, I don't need you guys. You go out. Leave me alone with Edge." And then Reigns again said, "Edge, you should acknowledge him." And Reigns kind of went towards Edge, and Edge was just smiling, smirking kind of thing. And then Kevin Owens was there, turns Reigns around, stunner, and that's it. Message sent. That's interesting, because I thought we moved on from the Reigns Owens feud, but apparently not. And I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. I mean, obviously I'm an Owens fan, so it's cool to see. But I really thought, okay, now we focus on Edge versus Reigns. But yeah, that's cool. That's not that easy to predict right now. What's happening with Owens? Like, how is this gonna pan out? Yeah, well, who's Edge gonna pick in the end? And will Christian play a role somehow in that whole thing? But it's cool. I'm intrigued. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Roman as a heel, great. Keep doing this forever. I don't know if I have to always see him as a champ, but still great as a heel. Yeah, Edge is being Edge, which is cool. Like, it's just cool, collected, cerebral assassin, cerebral, the R-rated superstar. Perfect. Yeah, great promo by both. I'm intrigued. So that was good. And then we also saw Bianca Belair, of course, shooting her shot, so to speak. She calls her WrestleMania shot, and she was interviewed where they showed like highlights from her Rumble and how she celebrated, and also how her parents, how her dad went crazy. It was kind of cute seeing her dad going crazy at home, jumping around. It was kind of nice. And she said, "I'm not listening to the people telling me to be patient." Who would tell her? Everyone wants to know who she's picking. And so she said she's going to make her decision soon. Then she came to the ring later. You see, I'm still excited because I actually really like the way they're booking those 2 right now. And she said she was putting the S in WrestleMania. I wrote it down to make sure she really said it. And she said she would have to do it her way. But before she was able to announce her decision, Reginald, of course, came out. He said that Belair could beat Asuka, but that she couldn't beat Sasha Banks. And while I'm obviously a Big Boss fan, because she has the best name in the business, not Banks, I found this a bit annoying. I mean, she said she couldn't beat Sasha Banks, or of course Carmella, and then Carmella came out to the ring, pointed out that she has 2 wins over Sasha Banks, and she said she could do the same thing over Belair. And then of course Sasha came out, said, "Yeah, no, whatever, I don't care." And she said, "Yeah, Belair might have it all, but she doesn't have the SmackDown Championship." No. Then Reginald interrupted again. Belair whipped him, of course, with her air, and then that was the end of the segment. And Bianca Belair didn't make any choice. That was a bit annoying. I mean, I understand why they want to drag it out here, but come on. I mean, the Edge thing kind of made more sense, but I mean, Bianca could have just made a decision. Even if she says, "I want to make a decision," make your decision. So this felt like a waste of time, to be honest. And while I do like Bianca Belair, and I'm happy that she won the Rumble and that she's got the choice of opponent, the chance for a shot, I didn't like that segment, to be honest. And I'm not sure if I like the way like this Carmella and Sasha thing is panning out right now. Again, I'm a Sasha fan, obviously, for obvious reasons, but yeah. And Carmella is getting better, but it's not doing it for me. And this Reginald thing is just I really don't like it. So that was not great. Luckily, I'm not giving grades here. Edge was cool. The Bianca segment wasn't that great. What else happened on SmackDown? And let me check my notes. What else happened? Of course, we had another match between Dominic Mysterio and King Corbin, because that's what we do every freaking week right now, and I can't care anymore. I mean, it was kind of interesting that Ray helped Dominic without Dominic noticing. Like at some point, Ray was hiding under the ring and then grabbing the heels of Corbin, so assisting Dominic for the win, and Dominic didn't see it. So maybe that's going to be an angle later on. Maybe that will pit Father against Son. Like Dominic gonna say, "You don't think I can beat him by myself? I don't need your help, Dad." And then eventually they're gonna face off against each other. But other than that, I now I hope that's gonna happen, because other than that, I really don't want to see that anymore. Corbin versus Mysterio is boring. Okay, then we had Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Yes. I would watch an hour of this, obviously. Actually, the win came via submission. Sharpshooter. It's like you're watching real wrestling again. Please give me more of this. I would buy the network. Even though they're moving to what, Peacock, whatever. I would buy any access just to see Cesaro and Bryan wrestle like 2 hours every week. Please do that. Great. Then we had Bayley, and I'm not a big fan of the new style. Sorry, Bayley, but I also wasn't a big fan of the hugging. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. She defeated Ruby Riott via pinfall with a headlock piledriver, I believe. I know, pile driver. I was thinking ahead already. With a headlock driver. Billie Kay was there on ringside and on commentary. She tried to help Riott, of course. And then you had the argument between Liv Morgan and Billie Kay, which was then a distraction, and so Bayley won. Why did you break up the Iconics? I'm not a big fan of this either. And I haven't been a fan of the Bayley character like ever. I do acknowledge that she's great in the ring, that she can do a lot, but yeah, maybe just let her have some fun and not just like put her into like this hugging category and now this like you're an asshole category. Or can I say that on YouTube? And so maybe let her develop her own like tweener character or something. I don't know. Yeah, also the Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan thing is just played out by now. We're gonna move on. We then saw Robert Roode still there, and Dolph Ziggler defeating. Let me check my notes. Defeating Otis and Chad Gable, and Roode hit the glorious DDT on Gable. Gable can catch a break even against the team with Dolph Ziggler, because Ziggler always loses. That was really, it's kind of sad what happened with Chad Gable. It's also sad what happened to Dolph Ziggler, of course. But man, Chad Gable, that was so cool to see like him in the tag team. He has all the tools. Like why don't they let him just have fun there? Go to AEW. Hulk Hogan in my notes. It really happened. Hulk Hogan appeared remotely to discuss the anniversary of his loss to Andre the Giant in a main event 33 years ago. And that's when Hogan then warned Drew McIntyre and Reigns to whoever Edge faces at WrestleMania. They're in trouble. Great. Why do they why do they want to have Hulk Hogan on there so bad? I don't know. But of course, if the Hulkster says be careful, Roman Reigns is going to say, oh, Hulk Hogan told me to be careful. Anyways, we then had also the IC Championship, Big C versus Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn. That was fun, actually. I like it. I like Sami Zayn, obviously. I like Big E. I like that Apollo Crews shows a little bit of an edge now. That was nice. It was pretty creative, like back and forth. Zayn, of course, being Sami Zayn. Sami Zayning. I don't know how to explain it, right? He does like smart. He's smart. And you can understand like his actions and what he's doing. I liked it. I liked that Big E is still the champion. That it's gonna like drag on for a little bit, but it's fine because it still feels fresh. So I can identify with this. I'm happy with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing like how this will pan out in the future. So that was good. Overall, I think SmackDown was not bad. The Bianca segment was a bit lame. The Hulk Hogan segment was like, why? But other than that, it was okayish. Again, I'm not grading, but if I would grade, I don't know, it might have been like in B territory, I guess. Simply because I'm just happy seeing Edge. If Edge is on the screen and I get Cesaro versus Bryan, I'm happy. When we then look at Raw, what happened there? I don't know where to start. I mean, officially, I think the first match was Styles and then with Omos protecting him versus Jeff Hardy. And okay, let's try to start at the start, right? So Adam Pearce was there, and Adam Pearce brought out Shane McMahon, and you're like, okay, first like the Shane shuffle, you're like, yeah, cool, okay, oh, Shane McMahon, and money. But then you're like, okay, Shane, why you're here? And Shane basically had Adam Pearce introduce all the Elimination Chamber candidates, participants. And Shane said, yeah, cool, good job. And then he left again. What? Why? Anyways, who's in the Elimination Chamber? We have the Drew McIntyre, of course, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, The Miz, and Sheamus. Oh, and then of course, I forgot, they had like this package where they showed like the friendship between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, and my heart broke when watching this. Such good friends, and now it's all broken in pieces just because Sheamus wants a title shot. Then AJ Styles arrived, mocked Pierce, of course, sent him to the back. I said, like, I'm gonna give the universe a preview of how the Elimination Chamber is gonna pan out. The promos weren't that great, to be honest. So I'm trying to remember everything they said, but it wasn't really that great. The bell rang, then Styles went after Hardy, went for the left leg, I believe, and yeah, of course, Hardy had a comeback in there. Mr. Swanton Bomb, though, getting old. And then we had the calf crusher, and Hardy actually had to tap. And we got way too many backstage segments, like Drew McIntyre with Adam Pearce backstage, and Sheamus with Adam Pearce backstage, and Sheamus insulting Pearce like, you're a yes man. Lame. Match wasn't great, I think. I mean, AJ Styles is AJ Styles, but they could have done more, I think. But Hardy isn't the old Hardy anymore, sorry. So that wasn't that great, and those segments in the beginning and at the end were just also lame. We had the New Day, yes it is, versus the Retributions, T-Bar and Slapjack, still fantastic names. We had Mustafa Ali on commentary. Of course he has to be on commentary. And he was like all like complaining about like they never got any opportunities, not like the New Day who got like every opportunities and lots of shots and so on. The Retribution was doing pretty well. But I'm thinking when I can't really remember what exactly happened. But of course, the New Day mounted a comeback, right? Kofi Woods had it, and then at the end they showed the Daybreak, the finishing move for the victory. Ali was going crazy, yelling at I think the Retribution guys because he was mad. So yeah, chaos everywhere. New Day defeats Retribution. They're just trading victories now back and forth to keep this going. It's funny to see like how this is now a thing. Like I know 3 weeks ago you would have thought Retribution is dead and no one cares, and now Slapjack is on TV basically every week. T-Bar, Slapjack, oh my god, Vanilla Ice next. The matches are always fine. I'm not big on like anyone in Retribution per se, but I mean the matches are fine. Like if I would grade, it might be in like a B territory, I guess. Like so it's okay. It's just weird to see that it's a thing now, when WWE clearly didn't care about him like just 3 weeks ago. We had another Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans. Do we really need to talk about it? Ric Flair, of course, was there, explained why he had chosen Lacey Evans. It's his next protege and so on. She's still wearing the ropes and whatnot. They even try to be nice to Charlotte, and Lacey Evans was like, hey, I would even like to team with you. But of course, Charlotte says like, I don't want to team with you. And she's like, hey, great, I didn't want to team with you anyways. Whatever, this was really stupid and annoying. And then we had Evans versus Charlotte, and then it actually was a DQ win for Lacey Evans. F next, try again. It's getting really. Oh my god! I wish I could just skip that part every week. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. Sorry. Okay, speaking of annoying things, I have it in my notes. The Miz interrupts Edge. Damian Priest with Bad Bunny, of course, versus Angel Garza. Of course, Damian Priest brings Angel Garza, brings Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny apparently now is he's a mainstay on the roster now. He's got pyro when he coming out like I don't know what he was doing with his fingers. Maybe I'm too old for that. Am I too old for that? So Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, they're like, yeah, we're best pals, obviously, because we're so similar. Miz and John Morrison, of course, were laughing with Angel Garza about those guys. And, well, Edge was questioning still if he would challenge for the championship. And the Miz then mocked Edge with the Money in the Bank, like, I've got the Money in the Bank, I can cash in anytime, and so on. Edge, of course, shrugs it off like, yeah, whatever. And then, of course, The Miz and Morrison try to help Garza in his match with the Archer of Infamy. It's also nice how they took away this moniker from him upon being on WWE main TV, right? And of course, Bad Bunny is there to get the two thrown out, and then Priest hits the Reckoning and wins it. Yeah, it's just too much. And I love The Miz and Morrison. Like, I'm a huge fan of it. Like, I'm so happy that I was so happy when they like reunited and it felt so good. But now those throwaway segments are just really annoying. And Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, like, how do they even fit together? Bad Bunny would make a better fit with Angel Garza, to be honest. Yeah, that was also, oh god, I really want to like it, people. Just as what I really want to like Keith Lee versus Riddle, who still, ever since he's on Raw, doesn't have a first name anymore. Yeah, so they talk backstage, and again, backstage segments, right? So they talk backstage, blah, back and forth. Keith Lee was like, hey man, Riddle, maybe you shouldn't go after this United States Championship, maybe let someone else go after that. And anyway, so they then had their match, which was nice, of course, because they're both awesome in the ring. Just those segments before are just so unnecessary. We we also had Lashley coming out, of course, then throwing the steel steps at Lee. That leads to Lashley versus Keith Lee at Elimination Chamber, of course, but Lee defeated Riddle before. Yeah, I mean, it sets up the next step. In ring, it's cool. Again, I'm just not a big fan of like this stuff that happens around it. Like, just let him go at it, and it's gonna be cool. Yeah. What else do we have? Yeah, of course. my hole. I had to think about the Friends moment. If you're watching Friends, or if you know Friends, or if you're still watching on Netflix, I think in season 1 when they all imitate Chandler, and then they're sitting in the cafe in Central Park. All the friends are there, and then that's when Phoebe works for Chandler for a short time in his office, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, they're imitating you," and you're like, "What? They're imitating me? Like, how could someone imitate me?" And then they're like, "Oh, they're talking like you." And then they give him examples like how he talks. Like, this is so not true. This is so not true. Or the hills are alive with the sound of music. So Ross is imitating Chandler, and Chandler's like, "This is so not true. So no, shut up." And then also Joey and Ross, I guess, imitating Chandler by looking at the scone on the table. It's like, my scone, like imitating Chandler's voice. And this just reminded me of Nia Jax when she was going, my hole. Maybe that's just my weird mind making those connections. But okay, back to the most amazing match we've seen all year long. Nia Jax with Shayna Baszler versus Lana with Naomi. And it was a tables match because Lana, yay Miro, and of course Nia smashed Lana around, then set her up on the ring apron, charging and trying to hit a leg drop on Lana on the apron, but Lana moved out of the way so that Nia then just hit the apron, the hardest part of the ring, as we all know, hit the apron right with her hole. And that's not me saying it, that's what she said. That's what she said. She was screaming, my hole, and it became a meme right off the get-go. If you're into wrestling, and that's why you listen to this podcast, you've obviously seen all those memes, right? My hole, whole memes everywhere. So yeah, Nia Jax, you're famous now. Congratulations. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that just led from people hating on Nia for botching things and not taking any criticism to like now maybe feeling sympathy, or at least thinking she's funny. Then while she was hurt and tumbling around and holding her hole, Lana pushed her into a table that was like standing there in the corner and won a tables match against Nia Jax, because that's what Lana does. Winning table matches. Yes. It was stupid, of course, but I mean, at least you have something to laugh. Then we had Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, and I love that Drew McIntyre wrote on Twitter, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, for the first time in 2021. Because we've seen this match 1,000 times, of course. But this time, of course, it had to be like a DQ, because, of course, Sheamus had to interfere and actually kicked Orton, which led to a DQ victory for Randy Orton. McIntyre then caught Sheamus with a Claymore to stand tall, which usually would indicate that he's not standing tall at the end of Elimination Chamber. But it's Drew McIntyre, and I think WWE will leave the championship on him for a while. If they take it off him, then probably via shenanigans. Like, I know, Sheamus blocking the chamber or whatever's gonna happen there. Yeah, short and sweet, that was okay, and nothing to complain about. I mean, another DQ, but they kind of had to find a way for a DQ here, of course. They can't give us this match again and like take away from the championship match in the chamber. So it's all good. Overall, Raw was a mess, of course. Nia Jax's hole might have saved it just by making it funny. Other than that, I'm glad Wednesday comes so quickly after Monday, because then we had AEW And I'm still not sponsored by Tony Khan, so I'm saying this because I really mean it, not because I get money for it. If Tony Khan would want to change that, I wouldn't mind though. We started off by watching Darby Allin versus the bad boy, Joey Janela. And Joey Janela, you should also call DDP, cause, you know. But it was a pretty close match between Darby Allin and Joey Janela. Lots of near falls. Lots of mat wrestling in between, which was pretty cool. Reversals and like jiu-jitsu basically, which was kind of cool to see from Darby Allin as well as from Joey Janela. That was kind of nice. And roll-ups and roll-overs and whatnot. That was pretty cool. In the end, Darby Allin pulled it off with this stupid coffin drop. Can you please? I mean, I like Darby Allin and I like his style of wrestling, but this finisher is just not cool. I mean, I get it. You're emo. You need to have the coffin drop, whatever, as a finisher. But can you make it cooler? Because like just falling backwards just seems to be the most stupid idea ever. But anyways, Darby Allin won. It was a good match. It was fun to watch. Good job. I liked it. Nice way to start things off. That was cool. So Darby Allin wins. Then commentary, of course, like hyping up the rest of the show. We had Jon Moxley cutting a promo again outside, talking about like Kenny Omega talking trash, and then Kenta coming in, and like basically everyone can get it. We also see that Sammy Guevara is there. Guava. I just ate guava. You only get that when if you ever been to Thailand. Okay, we saw Sammy Guevara. Now it's stuck in my head. We saw Sammy going into the inner circle dressing room. I'm sorry, Sammy, don't hate me. And he wants to have like say the other guy should leave because he wanna have a minute with MJF. MJF says, okay, everyone leave. Also Wardlow should leave. But Sammy says the camera guy should stay. And then Guevara says he watched last week and he knows exactly what Max is doing and that he's trying to take the inner circle over. And he says every week it's getting more and more obvious. And MJF said he thought this was just pity jealousy by Sammy. And why wouldn't he be jealous? Because he now replaced Sammy and is now the new favorite of Chris Jericho, obviously. But no, it's not jealousy. He thinks Guevara hates Jericho's guts and thinks he should be front and center. And so Sammy is upset because he wants to take over the inner circle. That's what MJF is telling him. Guevara then said, like, yeah, sure, like mockingly admitting it to MJF. And MJF says that's exactly what he wanted to hear and picks up his phone. And Guevara just freaks out, asking if he had been recording him, and then throws the phone against the wall. And then he cheap shots MJF. Interesting development here, right? Interesting. So MJF playing games and is pretty good at playing games. And then we had Cesar Bononi and Pretty Peter Avalon versus Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. And that, I think the most notable thing was that Cody Rhodes apparently got injured for real. So let's hope he's okay. Other than that, it was okay. Like an okay match just to watch, fill some time. Other than that, nothing breaking, I think. Rhodes of course won. Cody Rhodes, Lee Johnson winning, taking it. Yeah, all good. It was a decent match just to watch, I think. Then, post-match, then the interview, of course, by Tony with Johnson. And he said he was losing the whole time, the whole year, basically. Now he's lost for words. And he doesn't know what to do. And he thanks everybody, the Rhodes family, and everyone, and his trainers, and God, and you know it. And then they just raised his hands, and he's like, oh my God, it's so cool. It was a bit much, I think. Then we have an interview with the Young Bucks that they recorded earlier. And of course, we see the Good Brothers coming in and offering like a too sweet. But Matt is like, let's keep it private. Nick is all like, yeah, sure. Woo. That's it. What we see. Then we have another interview with Hangman in the area, but he says he doesn't want to really tag with Matt Hardy, so he's like, yeah, whatever. Then Matt Hardy rolls up, of course, and says, hey, we should celebrate a victory together, private bar, it's on him, and so on. That's what Matt Hardy is playing right now, right? If you follow him on his socials, he's like throwing money everywhere. You saw like him with like his wife being like naked on him, with just covered with money and so on. So he's like fully enjoying this role right now. Let's see where this goes. Okay, then we had another match finally. Pac versus Ryan Nemeth. So Ryan is featured now kind of every week almost on AEW, so good for him. I appreciate that. I like it. But Pac almost killed Ryan Nemeth here. Like right off the gates, like with a stomp. He was, oh my god, it's over. So he was just basically running through him. Like Ryan Nemeth tried his best to come back, but Pac wasn't having it. I even had like the DDT, like what Dolph Ziggler does, but Pac was just having too much pace. Like the pace was too high, just really going for it, and brutalize a submission victory for the bastard. So yeah, all good. We need to see Pac like gaining momentum again. So that was fine, of course. Decent match, fun to watch. Well done. Then we get a quick recap, of course, of the wedding from last week with Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, and Miro shackled to the floor, which was really not good. And I love Miro, but it was not good. Then we have like an interview with the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Wardlow, and Jack Hager, of course. Jericho's like, we are ready, I'm ready for the match. Woo! And he says, I'm sure MJF is going to be ready, and so on. Then MJF comes and has his ribs taped. And then MJF explains what happened and says, Sammy is a maniac. And Jericho says he's going to take care of this later on, and let's just win this match first. So then we see the match, Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and MJF versus The Acclaimed. And it was a great match. I really liked the match. That was pretty cool. I mean, I'm struggling because I'm trying to remember what was the highlights, and there were so many. I think like just a few small nuggets in between even. But of course, it started with MJF and his promo running down The Acclaimed. But then Caster like going after MJF's ribs. He's like, man, the ribs are taped. Let's go just after the ribs. He goes out and he's selling his ribs like for real. And then it was just cool. Then we had like the quick tag to Bones, and then they double team Chris Jericho. That was cool. But he gets the boot up, tags MJF in, then MJF tries to mount some offense, but then we have a back suplex face buster, which was pretty cool, I think. But then they isolate Caster in the corner, and then they're working over tags like Jericho and double flapjack. Is it the right thing? I think so, right? And even posing for the cameras, which was nice. And then it just continued like this. And then it was just like really nice back and forth. And of course, the Inner Circle was around the ring, and you would assume that they would interfere, and they did. But first, actually, the Acclaimed tried to interfere. It was I forgot who was down. Was it Caster or what that was down, and Jericho going for the lion salt, and when he jumped onto the second rope and the rope almost bursted, because go with it, DDP. Then Bowens, I think, hit him with I don't even know, with something, so that Jericho then fell, and so we almost got the victory here for the Acclaimed. Jericho kicked out in 2.5, and then of course, while they tried to work over Jericho one more time, then distraction. I don't know, Santana out. Someone distracted the referee, and then Hager on the other side pushed down, I think, Owens from the top turnbuckle, and then Judas Effect from Jericho, and then the victory for the Inner Circle. And then so, victory, yay, MJF still holding his ribs. And then Sammy's music hits, Sammy comes out with the microphone, all confident, going into the ring. And Chris Jericho's like, well, Sammy, what happened? Like, what's up? And Sammy is all like, Chris, on December 9th, I told you. One more thing with him, and he points at MJF, and I'm out. So, I'm out. puts down the microphone. I think he wanted to drop the mic, but maybe they told him, don't drop the mic, it's gonna break. So he's like putting it on the floor and then walks off. It's a bit awkward. He should have just dropped it. Buy a new mic. It was the end of the show anyways. And then he walks off. The others like trying to maybe talk to him a little, but just watching him leave and are like all confused of what was happening. So maybe MJF's plan to break up the inner circle is working. And that's it. The end of AEW Dynamite. Overall, I think again this week this was the best show of all the 3 wrestling shows that I watched. SmackDown, Raw, and Dynamite. It wasn't all that super crazy, but the matches were mostly cool, fun to watch, and no real stinkers, unlike Raw the whole time and SmackDown with a few. So yeah, overall I would give AEW the heads up this week. So congratulations, AEW, you won. Even though the promo that Tony Khan was cutting the day before. Oh, I forgot. Oh my, how can I forget? The main event. I didn't talk about the main event. The main event. Sorry, I was so caught up in the whole MJF thing. Yeah, Jon Moxley, of course. Jon Moxley, Lance Archer versus Kenny Omega and Kenta. And maybe just slipped my mind because it was just so crazy because it was a false count anywhere. And of course, they took it anywhere, all across the arena, battling each other, killing each other. Archer running wild in between, like just throwing everything he had, killing Kenny Omega several times. Kenta and Moxley were like going wild at it for quite a while. You have to watch it. It was insane, of course, like into the kitchen area and like, of course, the ringside, but then of the arena everywhere. And Kenta was like dishing out punishment quite nicely as well, mostly with Moxley. And in the end, of course, it all hell had to break loose with the Good Brothers coming in and helping Kenny Omega to beat down Lance Archer. And then eventually this took all those 3 people to set up the one-winged angel. They were like lifting Archer on Kenny's shoulders, and then he hit a very quick one-winged angel for the victory in the middle of the ring. So good on them. And Kenta still beating down Moxley. And so that was fun. That was fun. I mean, of course they had to win via shenanigans, but it was fun. Like good job. I enjoyed it. So yeah, AEW also with this match, of course, the clear winner this week. No real stinkers, unlike WWE on Raw and on SmackDown. So that was fun. And I hope Kenta is there to do a bit more damage. Let's see where this goes. Let me know what you think. What did you like the most? What did you hate? Do you agree with AEW? And to finish my thought, the promo we saw from Tony Khan the day before that is on the AEW channel with Tony in the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium. Tony Khan, you need some promo practice. Call me. Let me know what you think about this week in wrestling. And other than that, take care and I'll see you soon. Suck it! Sorry.